The sunset blankets a thin, shale-covered valley with a dying light. Nestled in the crook of a rocky hill sits a small collection of houses, no more than 20 or so, each with a blue slate roof and composite walls. This small village is lit every few yards by tall poles, upon which hang flickering oil lamps. On the far side of this narrow valley, several hundred yards from the village, and barely visible in the highest hillside, is a gaping entrance into the mine itself. The caravan pulls into the middle of the village, where it's met by several men in sturdy-looking armour. Mania dismounts and waves to them in greeting. "Ahoy! I've got this month's supplies." You have arrived at your destination. Over to you.
A horse would sort of just gently cozy up to Mania as they're stepping off the caravan, sort of indicate the men in armour. Are these Forest Co employees or mercenaries or?
So, just looking at them yourself, even before you speak to Mania, you can see that they are almost entirely men in sort of leather armour that looks kind of quite uniform-like. She just, when you ask them, she just sort of nods and says, "Town security."
Good to know. Do they, what sort of weapons do they have visible?
They're all carrying swords.
When Mania mentions about, do they hang around, or are they just straight to it? Are they just straight in lifting, or?
They don't actually look like they're going to help at all. They're just kind of congregating around, but they're not actually helping unload the caravan at all.
Are there any villagers or anyone coming to unload, or is it just sat there?
Clearly going to be for
Doesn't
supplies.
seem to be anybody else around at all. As you sort of just take in what's going on around you, Mania sort of calls you over to come and speak with these men, and she says, she introduces you to one of them who stands out sort of amongst the rest, a little bit more imposing. She says, "This is Galanda, head of security. He'll get you sorted with the rest of your work. I've got all this up to offload now." And she turns around and sort of, with a sort of resigned look on her face, looks at the wagons and off she goes to start unloading the stuff that's stacked up in them. The guy that she pointed out to is a human, early middle-aged maybe, strong face, strong head, strong sort of jaw, short-cropped brown hair, sort of stands and looks at you. You can see the others around him are kind of waiting to see what he does.
So I'll cast a glance towards Horst.
Yeah.
Who's got the highest strength here?
10.
Me.
Fremon.
Oh, rude.
15.
It's not me. It's definitely not me.
On a 10.
Okay.
I think I'm a 10 as well.
12.
So
I'm
he,
stronger than you.
This guy identified as Galanda steps forward and sticks his hand out towards Horst.
Yeah. Horst flashes one of his
Cool.
award-winning smiles, teeth glistening a little bit underneath his beard, and he gives him a strong but not overpowering grip.
Galanda grips
Yeah.
and grips, and he looks into your eyes. Give me a charisma intimidation check.
Intimidation. 15.
Okay. As he looks into your eyes and you sort of hold that stare, he smiles a bit bit of a grin and a bit of a sort of slightly taken aback perhaps. And he says, "So you're the folks that have been sent to take care of the kobold problem, eh?"
Angmar mentioned you had a problem with some angry red folk, I think he described them as.
Yeah, little red buggers. Good. Well, welcome.
What's the problem? Can you manage it yourself? Or?
Give me another charisma roll, please.
Intimidation or just straight charisma?
What do you want to do? What are you trying to achieve with this?
Just give a bit more information, really. Yeah, you're intimidating. 11.
He kind of just looks at you for a minute and then he just turns away and looks at the others and he says, well, if that's what you're here for, it'll be getting dark soon and we've got a patrol to go on. That's the best way for you to start. Join me in an hour.
That's great. The more
He
information.
turns his back on you and he just heads off, and as he walks away the other guys just sort of seriously off and you wander off.
Mania story?
She's busy getting sacks and barrels.
Is she doing it herself?
She's doing it on her own,
And this is invisible sight, but nearby. Sort of.
yeah. This is right next to you.
So I'll go over to Manier and I'll say, might be small, but what needs going where?
She looks quite surprised. You're offering to help?
Well, if no one else in the guard is going to help, that's why we're here.
That'd be fabulous. No one ever helps when we get here. That'd be great. Yeah, we never get much of a welcome when we come. And considering we bring them everything they need.
Yeah. You bring them food, you bring them drink.
If you could help, that would be really, that'd be great.
So I'll just start taking a lead. I'll pick a few sacks, I'll put them down, and I'll just carry on, and I'll take a look at you guys, and I'll say.
What's the wander over and just be like, "There'll be a."
Cool. So there's
You're stronger than me.
fruit and meat.
She's gonna pick up a bigger
and
barrel
textile
and
bales.
walk off, looking at you like, I got this. Don't worry.
I don't think that one's full of beer.
So all this stuff, she says, needs to be taken over to that one, to the rusty tap. And you can see that there's a building that clearly is not a domicile. Many of the other buildings look very similar. They look very simple. They kind of just look very bunkhouse-ish. But this one clearly is at least trying to be a tavern of some sort. And she says, yeah, if you could do that, that would be great. Could you all give me a strength roll, please?
Natural one.
Do I have to do that because I'm not actually with them?
Yeah.
Actual one.
Just yours as well.
Fabulous. Okay, Tamara, come on, you've not got much to beat.
At 9.
Okay, so you two sort of start. You watch as Mania, she just gets a sack, sits up on her shoulders, and she's trudging off, and the next thing one of you drops a sack and stuff starts leaking out of it, and you try to pick up a barrel and the cork comes out and stuff's leaking and you're having to sort of fix it, and you're just sort of like. And by the time she comes back, you're still all sort of stood by the wagon, putting corn back into the sack and tapping a cork back in and just looking like nothing's happened, and she just kind of.
Are these sacks made by Forest Guard? I thought dwarves were renowned for their craftsmanship. These are really poorly made.
She just kind of shakes her and says, "Nothing is easy in this life." And she just picks up another sack, puts on her shoulder, and carries on. If you want to carry on trying to help her, you can give me another strength check.
Well, a little red face at this
Embarrassed,
point. Yeah.
That's one.
11.
19.
Okay. She Shane.
No way!
Yes!
All three of you.
That's it, we're done for the game now. We've got them all out of the
I thought
way.
you said you want them all out.
That's amazing.
What's the list?
So you managed to get yourself together and you pop the cork back in, and you it's a struggle, but you get the thing in. You find your balance, and it was just the way something twisted on you, and it just sort of didn't work quite well. Meanwhile, you've seen these two sort of faff around with their first attempt, and perhaps in your attempt
Friendly.
to show off, you just heave something over the top of your shoulder and there's stuff all over the place. And again, Mania comes back and she looks and she goes, she just says, the guys would be great if you want to help, but please don't feel you've got to. I can do this, it's okay. Maybe, you know, it's been a long day, you just want to go and have a wander around or pop in the tavern or do anything else. Really? Anything?
Is the tavern where we're... Do they have rooms there, or is it just a bar?
It's just a bar. The rooms are in the other houses.
Do we know if Forrest would have assigned us rooms, or do we have to ask Galando what the situation?
You weren't given that sort of information before you set off. No one asked us, asked the dwarf boss anything like that.
You
So-
like to be close to nature, we could always...
Yeah, I'm happy to camp. I'm happy to go in. And then I'll look around for Phil. See what's going on.
Phil's just scouting, really, sort of going around the perimeter of the village
Okay.
or town or whatever it is, and specifically trying to hear maybe guards talking about like what the plans are, or what they're doing for the evening, maybe what's been going on in town, if anything has been going on in town, just kind of trying to stay out of sight.
Okay.
Kind of eavesdrop.
So you have a chance, you keep just in the shadows, you just manage to skirt around the edge of the buildings, and as you see people coming you kind of keep out of the way. You can see that, you get a pretty good sense of the layout of the town, and actually many of the buildings that you can see are not domicile buildings at all. They look like offices and storehouses. And you count up, there are only 6 sort of dormitory buildings, and from what you can see, just sort of getting close enough to have a look through windows, they seem to be broken up into sort of large bunk rooms with bunk beds in them. Fairly simple, really basic stuff. As you walk round 3 of those buildings, have got people in there, you can hear some laughing, mostly there's a few grumbly sounds and occasionally a bit of a shout comes from somebody. You're not able to get close enough to really pick up anything distinct. If you'd have to get really out into the light, which would kind of defeat what you're trying to do.
No, yeah, I think Phil's plan, pretty much for the evening, like the whole of the rest of the evening, is just sort of keeping a low profile, trying to just sort of figure out people, the town's guards and stuff, and see who he should be looking at and who he shouldn't be looking at, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
That's pretty much what he's.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, sort of looking. I think what he wants to do is look for, because we're here to stop the, what are they called? Kobolds. Kobolds. Yeah. So like looking for maybe evidence of kobolds being here, or trying to hear people that might be speaking about it if there's such big trouble about it. That kind of stuff basically. It's trying to see if anything's actually happening here with them. That's the information he's trying to find out.
Okay. Cool. I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Move on.
Where's Phil and Adalola? What's going on? Where have they disappeared?
Well, you guys see me
Adenauer
go.
is
You guys see me
with you
go.
at the moment,
Okay.
and she's just kind of quietly, just sort of, not disappeared. She's just hanging in the back of the group, the four of you, and just sort of, she's very quiet. Again, just taking in what's going on around you.
I haven't had a drink since breakfast tomorrow. Do you fancy checking out the rusty?
Talent.
Manny, I'm sorry for making a mess of the cart. Maybe when you're done, if you'd like to join us for a drink, we'd be happy to buy you one to say sorry.
Again, you see some sort of surprise, and a smile comes across the face and says, I may well join you later if you've not gone off on this patrol that I heard Gallagher say he was heading off on. So yeah, if I catch you later, that'd be great, thank you.
Amazing.
Don't feel so bad. It's a tough job unloading this stuff.
It is.
Drink?
Yeah, sounds great. And as we're walking off, I'll say, is that how you do it?
Not quite. Maybe later.
So you make your way towards the Rusty Tap. It's a single room building. On the western wall there's just stacks and stacks of caskets and barrels, and clearly all the supplies are just kept in there. And there's a wooden counter, sort of not right in the middle of the room, but not far, probably a third of the space is the bar and the storage, and the other side there are a couple of tables. Behind the bar you see this short, well, they wouldn't be tall, this gnome, apparently female, best you can guess. She's sitting on a chair at the bar with a book in her hand, and she's sort of just flicking through some things, and you can see her finger tracing as she reads through stuff. But other than that, the tavern is empty.
Evening.
Hello.
Is this your tap house or?
Well, I run it, if that's what you mean. I guess it's mine, yes. Yeah.
Forest Co-op, I assume, or?
Well, Forest Co own everything, don't they? So
Seems
I
to
haven't
be.
seen your faces around before. Are you the ones that have come up to deal with the kobolds?
Reputation precedes us a little bit.
I wouldn't say that. Just that we were told someone was coming, so
Okay.
nobody told us whether you'd be any good at what you were coming to do. So.
Well, we must be better than those who have already tried. We must have been better than the gods.
She kind of grins a little. You seem to be having quite a good result in getting people to grin at some of your comments. But she, says, I don't know, not for me to comment, really, is it? What can I get you? Are you here to drink, or to eat and drink? Or to drink and drink and fall over?
That sounds good. Yeah.
We're going on a tour with Garlander in a bit, so
Oh yeah, we'll be taking the boys out on a patrol. Yeah, they'll be out for some fun tonight.
fun. What's fun around here?
Well, what they think is fun. It's not what I'd class as fun. So what can I get you?
What have you got? What are the options?
So she indicates a couple of barrels behind the counter. She says, we've got some of the company ale or nothing.
Company ale it is.
Good choice. Good choice. And she starts pulling some flagons of ale and plonks them on the bar.
Company biscuits to go with it, or?
Oh well, we can do food. We don't normally do meals. Let me think. Because we kind of do 2 meals in the day, and everybody comes in on shift and gets the food, and that's it. But I might be able to knock you up something if you give me a few minutes.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Thanks.
Cool. Well, if you're going to do that, I expect I could knock something up for a silver.
I've got this.
No, it's okay.
8, that is just.
Yeah, I've got this. I've got plenty.
Ah,
I have plenty, believe me, and she'll pass over some of
Cool.
the gold of her winnings.
Gives it a good bite,
Blood money.
Aye.
checks it and bends it and says, tricky ones, bars, aren't they? Puts it in her pocket. She starts rummaging around behind the bar, and you can see she's got some, there's some earthenware jars and things, and she starts pulling stuff out. You instantly start to smell cheeses and things coming out. And she pots some stuff on some plates, and I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes later, she comes and I guess you sat down there waiting for this. She brings these platters out, and it looks pretty awesome stuff. Some salted meat, some cheeses, some pretty hard cooking bread, but you know.
Just as she was checking the silver horse with us, is that why you mind here? You seem to be familiar with it, or?
Oh, I have no idea what goes on in the mines.
No.
I'm just here. I have this franchise, I guess you'd call it. I try and keep myself to myself and make sure they get fed, give them enough drink to send them to sleep, not too much that they start fighting. That's all I do.
Fine balance, I think, sometimes.
It is not always easily achieved.
have you been here long then?
Yeah, I came up probably, I think, with the third caravan when they were establishing the town and building it. When the tavern was first put up, I think there were only maybe 2 bunkhouses, maybe only 5, 6 buildings altogether. So, yeah, a year and a half, something like that, maybe.
Sounds going quite quickly.
Mm. Oh, they're building all the time. It's, you know.
So is the cobalt problem been around for a year and a half, or is that a new thing?
Is it a problem?
If,
I know the kobolds around. I don't have any trouble with them.
well, we saw a few coming in and they kept themselves to themselves.
Yeah, I think that's what they tend to do. I mean, I'm sure the guards will tell you otherwise later when they've beaten a few of them up or something. But
Oh, right, I see.
Is that what constitutes fun in there?
anyway, enough said. I'm going to go back and finish reading the book. Enjoy your drinks and your food, guys.
What is it you're reading? Anything interesting?
She sort of turns around the cover and you can see that it's got lots of pictures of there's a horse, like all pictures, herbs and flowers, and she seems to be she just says it's good for medicines and things like that.
Does it look anything like a herbarium would have picked up?
No, this looks like a sort of hand-made thing. It's either hers or she's picked up from somewhere, and you can see it's got lots of scribbles on it and stuff. It's a good book.
Is that a plant? Is it something Gwen would be interested in, maybe, if you...
Well, maybe if we're around long enough to share, who knows. Anyway, I need to get on and tidy up on the back, she says.
Okay, so I guess we'll go eat our food, drink our drink.
I'm not really here to...
Outside, as you kind of come round full circle around the town and you realise you've pretty much covered all of the town, you can see that there is a very clear, well-established track that leads away from the town up towards the mine. And other than that, the area between the buildings and the wood is kind of cleared quite well, so that there's quite a flattened area, a few tree stumps and things, maybe 15, 20 yards.
Between the town and the mine?
No, between the town and the forest that sort of surrounds it.
Oh, okay.
The cliff, the valley that it's in. It's almost like a sort of, just a very deliberate open area all the way around the edges of the complex.
They look like they've chopped down parts of the forest.
Yeah, this is definitely
Yeah,
been done
okay.
deliberately. Whether it was done as part of the construction of the town, give me a perception check, please.
Natural 20.
So
That's good shit.
you can see
First
that
roll of the night, we like that.
just knowing in your head some of the things you know from the past, the term almost killing field comes to mind, that this is where militarily around camps and cities and things, an area that is flat, that means there's no
Nowhere to
easy
hide.
direct access into the building, you would open view. That you're quite sure as you wander around there is what's been achieved here.
Does it look like it's being used for that purpose if I keep going around and just investigating?
Occasionally you think you get a glimpse of somebody just in the edges of the wood. It's fairly rough, low sort of characters, just occasionally dart and disappear.
Okay. I don't quite know what I want to do. I'm not sure if I want to go back into town or go and push further afield. Can I sort of go to the edge of this area, like the perimeter, so it's around the town, right? I want to just walk the edge of it.
So on the tree line.
Yeah, and I want to sort of see if there's anything, I don't know, anything of abnormal interest that wouldn't just be trees and grass. Do you know what I mean? See if there's anything out there that
Cool.
they might have like intentionally.
We'll leave you to do that. We'll take a roll when we come back to you. Back in the Rusty Tap, you've half an hour has maybe gone and you've eaten up and drunk your Forest Cove ale, which is certainly not dirty about that's for sure. But, you know,
Milk.
it washed down some of that dust.
Tomorrow's actually going to be frowning at the drink. Like, trying to work out what's wrong with it. Something not right.
Quicker we get back to some stuff maybe, and maybe we should bring our own supply next time.
Give me a perception check.
All of us?
Oh, just tomorrow.
17 plus 5?
Yeah. So, I mean, you wouldn't say that you're a connoisseur of ale, but you have drunk enough of it to know that this is fairly watered ale. It's not stale, but it's certainly not the freshest stuff going.
Just going to spit and go, pissed. Absolute piss.
If it makes us friends, pointing over to the gnome, we can keep on it.
Yeah.
What are these kobolds? What are they?
Do we know what kobolds are?
Yeah, you would. You would know that kobolds have a bad reputation across the known world. They are often tales will be told of them to children. You know, if you're not good, the kobolds will get you, that sort of thing. They have a reputation for being spiteful, nasty little pack-fighting creatures. They're like goblins on steroids, you know, just a little bit mad. And give me more the
Dogs, aren't they?
history check.
You too?
Yeah. Even though you're not here, it'd be worth.
19.
14.
History.
Yeah.
History.
20.
17.
Nice.
They're territorial.
All of you have heard all these stories about how villages got raided by, you know, tribes of kobolds and how they did this and how they did that. But you also know that that's not perhaps the whole story. That there are also communities of kobolds that live quite isolated and on their own and don't cause trouble, and they do some trading with other groups and things like that. Occasionally kobolds will get into communities and live fairly quiet, sort of in the background life, but they're able to sort of exist with other races. This picture of nasty little red boogers, you all, just through your own experiences, you see the scapegoat in them. Without a doubt, they can be nasty little buggers, but then isn't that true of humans and dwarves and halflings and everybody else, actually?
Try to remember, are they territorial?
I suppose everyone's territorial if you're coming into their homeland, their town, their village, then I suppose they're not going to like it. If they built the mine on their land, then I could see them getting fired up. But by the sounds of it, they're not particularly bothering anybody. Mania said she'd never heard of any trouble. I didn't catch the barkeep's name, but she said she's never had any trouble with them. It sounds more like maybe Forest Co were trying to clear them off their own land.
Yeah, because if it's been around for about 2 years, rapid expansion, going to the mine. I wonder who owned the land before this. I wonder if anyone owned it.
It's just out in the woods, isn't it? I suppose it's just woods. No one owns it. But if Forest Co found something valuable in that mine, then if they were present already, maybe they wouldn't particularly like being disturbed. But again, it sounds like they're just clearing them out to make way for this operation, as opposed to.
As you're saying this, Gwyn, actually for a flash, looks incredibly anguished, and you just see him sort of looking up to the left slightly. He says, if they're doing what you're suggesting, well, we'll see how well these guards are armed.
And outside, you've completed your full circuit of the edge of the wood. The perception roll, please. Perception roll, please.
Perception. Dirty 20.
So you're able to kind of very carefully make your way around on the edge. You keep yourself just enough inside the tree line that somebody from the buildings would probably not even notice you going around. But you're not deep enough in that you're sort of disturbing the forest. And all the way around you, maybe 7 or 8 times, you're aware, very aware that at least one or more small, scruffy looking characters, sort of creatures that are not hiding themselves because they get a sense that you know they're there, but they're sort of, every now and then you see a face out in the trees, and then it will drift back out of sight again or from behind a rock, watching you rather than stalking you. You don't feel at any point particularly threatened, just watched.
Can I set up camp, so to speak? But I'm not gonna I'm not trying to be, I don't know, visible. I want to be sort of hiding in the tall grass. Do you know what I mean? I want to kind of just pick a spot, get down, see below, and just wait and watch. That's
So
it.
you're going to probably just move
Looking
a little
towards
bit
the
into
town.
the trees. You've still got a good view, but guaranteeing that you're clear.
Yeah, I want to be looking at what's or who's going in and out of the town.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, you said about that. Back in town, an hour's gone by, and as you sit there talking and questioning each other about things, what you know and don't know, the door bursts open and in walks Gallander, and he says, right, we need to get on the mission. Are you joining us?
What we came here to do? What's the mission?
Well, we're going to we need to go and check out whether those kobolds are causing more trouble again. So it's time to get out. We're gonna go out and just do some patrols. And you can see behind there's a couple of guys coming in with some torches. He starts handing some torches out. Are you all coming? So there's the 4 of you in there at the moment. Obviously Phil's not there. And so starts holding out some torches.
Where's the patrols going? How far out are
We're
we?
going out into the woodland and the hills around the town, and we'll just spend a little while just seeing if we can see any of the critters. I need you to split up into little groups. That's the way it works best.
Why not just show a force and go out as one? And what are you?
This way we're more likely to pick them up. We've been doing this for a while. I know what I'm doing. You don't have to join us if you don't want to. If you're not up to it, I'll just let them back in the town, in the city, know that they wasted their money.
We haven't had any money yet, but
That's not
yeah,
really
we'll come with you. And as the horse says that, he just sort of matters to Gwyn and tomorrow, trying not to be here. Just roll a bit. See what this thing is.
So I reckon maybe go out in pairs.
What, with one of your guards? One each?
I guess if you want to, but I was thinking maybe a pair and a pair, really.
Okay, let's do that.
We tend to stick together. We'll go as the 4 of us. Maybe you'd like to give us one of your men to show us the terrain and where the patrols are.
I thought you were supposed to be up for this job.
Well, quickly, you've got some local
you want us
knowledge.
to do
You
it,
can,
or
you can show us around, and we can do the job.
well, I need my guards to do what we're going to do. If you want to stick as a 4, that's up to you, but it won't work so well. Small groups are what work best here.
Why?
Because you can sneak up on the little buggers. If we go out mob-handed, they'll know that we're coming, and they'll just disperse.
So they're not attacking.
You can see that he's looking quite pissed off now. I mean, we're just going, so it's up to you whether you're going to be part of this or not, really. You can see some of the guys that are sort of poking their heads around the door, big grins on their faces. And,
Yeah, we'll join the patrol. We'll meet you out there in a minute.
Yep, let's just finish our drink. We'll be out in a second.
Cool. So, what we need to do, if you can get this, because this is all about military tactics, and I'm not sure that you know what you're up to, but if you could, just skirt around, have a look in the bushes, just follow some of the little trails. If you see them, just give them a whack if you can. It's all good.
Sounds easy enough.
It is for me and my guys. And he turns around and he starts to walk out.
We just let him walk out a minute.
I do not like this man.
No, he's a dick.
I do not like this man at all.
I think we should just maybe roll with it for a minute, see what they're up to. I'm not the quietest of people, I don't know about you, but I know yourself, and Adalola can be a little bit more subtle than myself. Maybe if we go as a pair and act like we're doing the mission, maybe if you guys could slip and see what they're actually up to when we're not with them.
Phil.
If you need a hand, just shout.
Try and find Big Phil.
And you watch as you can see the groups just through the open door starting to disappear into the darkness, and you just see a few torch lights vanish and they spread out.
Okay, so are you going to head out after them and I'll stick behind and follow them?
Yeah. Is that a good plan?
Sounds like fun.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Cool.
So I'm just going to hold
So you get your torches up, you head out through the door, you can sort of see where groups have vanished, and you're going to go where they've gone or in different directions.
I think should we go in a different direction
Okay.
if
So you set off towards the woods and torches going, and
Am I seeing any patrols head towards me when this is happening?
from where you're sat in the edge of the woods, you can see all these groups of people coming out. There's a bit of noise and a bit of laughter, and you can see the torches light up, and then they spread out. And yeah, maybe a couple of groups come quite close to you. As far as you can see, they didn't even know you were there. You got yourself down out the way.
And am I still seeing the small creatures?
Less. You were aware that they seemed to still be watching you when you first decided to make a little.
Have I see? Am I noticing them like move away though, or?
You're not that you actually notice them, but you are now conscious that they're not there.
There's less presence. Yeah. Okay.
So, just to say, I won't have my torch. I don't need it. And I'll wait for Horst and Tamara to leave. I'll take a look.
Adalola is with you at this time. So she's like, are we going towards this?
We don't need torches.
But there are lots of lights around us, which makes our darkness not effective.
That's okay. And I'll say to Adalola, are you able to go find Phil and meet us and follow the path?
Yes, she said, I can do that. I'll go and find him now.
Okay. So I'll
Which
scout.
direction are you going first?
I'm going to follow Golander.
Okay. So she disappears, starts heading towards the woods. You're not sure whether that's in the direction of Phil, because you're not sure where Phil went, but
She can
you
track
watch
anything.
as she disappears into the wood and leaves you on your own. You two are sort of made yourself out into the woods. You see torches every now and then sort of flickering and hey, what? And stuff. And
Mara, while they're walking, is going to speak quietly to Horst and say, during the attack at the warehouse in Soaring Mist, your skills and prowess in the fight would have been amazing, and to have someone at my back for defence and to intervene when Malvath and Gwyntor fought, and everything that you've done from the get-go has been so inspiring, and for the next 10 minutes she's going to be talking about how amazing you are to her, and you're going to gain 6 points from inspiring leader.
Force would say, I've always got your back, it's fine. I don't think I would have been much use. I was wearing my caps
So was
that
I.
evening, but yeah, I've always got you. Don't worry too much.
cool. So about an hour goes by.
I will have put my hood up
Well, I can get you know,
and
the
slunk out trying to follow Golander.
Okay, so you're deliberately trying to follow him.
Yeah.
Cool.
I want to tail. Sorry, I want to tail the groups that would have like come close to me.
Okay.
I want to kind of just keep on like in the woodland, but I want to keep view of them.
Yeah.
I want to see what they're doing, and if possible, try and see how other things in the woods are reacting.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll need a stealth check or something of your offering for that. Meanwhile, you two,
That wasn't great.
you're just kind of wandering around the woods.
11. Stealth.
Okay. You're not, neither of you are sort of born forest trackers, but you both pretty quickly flew into the fact that trying to track anybody with the racket that's being made by these people wandering around with their torches up as well and the light that's doing, it's probably a little bit futile. But you carry on, just having a look around. Give me a perception check, both of you, please.
Perception is
16.
18 plus 5.
Okay. But as you're sort of a little distracted by the lights and trying to maybe catch if you can hear what any of these guards are saying, you both become aware of a sort of scuttling sound behind some boulders to your sort of to the side of where you are. Just bear with me 1 second. Let's bring you onto the table. So you are sort of up near where you are, Tamara. Yep, in that sort of area there. And over on this side,
Feels
on
like
the
it's
edge
been
of
forever
the bushes, become aware of some scuttling by some boulders and some bushes.
Just sit tight.
Lower.
Huh?
Lower the torches just so they're not seen. Like,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as you follow the groups, you are quite accomplished in forest craft and you understand the concept of tracking and patrolling, and what you're witnessing is nothing like this at all. It's just brutish bravado. And these sort of couples of blokes with their torches are just crashing around in the woods, waving it around every now and then. They stop sometimes and look, and but they don't seem truly to be doing this in a particularly professional way. You are following the Galander, and he is less random. He seems, from what you can tell, he seems determined that he's going to see if he can find something. He's got quite a determined step and direction that he's going in. The guy with him is walking with some bit of swagger, almost as if, yeah, I'm the boss, and we're going to sort of thing. They just seem to be following a path through the woods and through the rocks quite comfortably.
Can I just ask, is Galander also wearing leather armour? Was he
He
wearing...
has the same armour that they wear on the body. It's quite good quality leather jerkins. Looks like they've got probably padding underneath as well. Some leather armband, arm plates. Leather jerkins with almost like chaps on them that just give them some extra protection.
And he's got a sword as well?
Yep, all sorts.
Is the whole sword... is it a long sword? Is it made of metal? What's the handle look like? What's...
Well, yeah, look at the sword, pointed at handle on. Are you an expert on swords?
No, but I'm trying to work out how much are naturally made and how much are sort of metal crafted and things.
It is a metal sword. Pretty much all of it is metal with some leather binding around the hilt. But
Okay.
it looks of reasonable quality.
So it looks like he knows what he's doing.
Yes, of all of them, he looks like he may have some sort of military background or some understanding of fighting.
Sure.
You two are stood quietly watching an area of bushes. where you heard some noise.
Lowered our torches.
Just so you a little less visible.
Okay, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference.
It's fine.
They're basically
Fine.
sticks with flames coming out
Okay.
the top of them.
I thought they were like lantern things.
And,
It's still just rustling. Is anything coming out from behind it, or?
give me another perception check.
14.
7.
Okay, so you've managed to keep an eye on this, and you can see that there seems to be a group of small individual creatures that seem to be sort of like they're just moving, not a huge amount in this area, almost like they're taking up a position or they're watching something. They don't seem to be aware of you at this moment. They're in the bushes, it's difficult to see, just kind of seeing almost some silhouette movement of them.
What's the shout? Hail!
Okay. Okay. Give me a charisma check, please.
Sorry. Ooh. 7.
Okay. You instantly become aware that any movement that was there stops completely. And if you hadn't known they were there already, you struggle to see where they are. You're almost starting to lose them in their stillness. What languages do you speak?
Just common.
Samara.
Oh, giant, but like understanding a few words. I think.
I don't know where language is on this, but I think it's just common in half anyway.
And you think you can talk bear.
Yes.
You think you can talk
Wolf.
wolf. Common and half. Yeah. Okay, sure. Okay, so you can hear a little bit. But it's not language that you are able to discern. What's happening with Phil?
What is happening with film? I just keep following these groups. Well, the group that I obviously chose to follow. I'm going to keep following. I want to watch.
As you keeping your distance to one group that you're following, a pair of guys, you notice that they stop and they sort of crouch down for a moment, and then you watch them for just a few moments. And a pair of them jump up and start running forwards, shouting. And as they do, as their light moves away from you and to wherever they're running, you can see as it's darkness the other side of the light, but suddenly the light comes out on these 3 or 4 small figures that they start going at hell for leather, and a fight is taking place in front of you. Maybe 20 yards in front of you. And there's a bit of shouting going on, and oh, they're here, we got some. Dunk, dunk. That sword's going.
Did
they're quite blunt swords.
Did the creatures like meet them? Like, did they like also like just jump in and start fighting, or did they look scared? Did they try to
That's
run?
difficult for you to see. If you imagine you've got between you and the other side of the torch, it's this light, and it means everything the other side of the torch is just dark. It doesn't really illuminate well for you. You're just seeing torch as they run forwards. As they get, I don't know, maybe only 15, 20 foot ahead of themselves, you then see that there are some other characters, and there's this fight ensuing in front of you.
I'd like to just circle around, get into a position where I can actually see what's going on,
Cool.
and just see what
You
happens.
hear this noise break out, somewhere in the woods, as do you. And as you watch Galander, you can see him respond, and he looks up and he is looking to see which direction he should be travelling. And stay there, Maisie. Come here, come here, come here.
Close the door, sir.
And no, it's okay. I'll just hold on to it a second. And he begins to head towards. Come on, let's go. Let's see what we got. And he heads off in the direction that you can hear this sound coming from.
Okay, I will follow behind. I won't be following straight behind. I'll be following sort of like from the side. Just trying to sort of keep pace with him.
Okay. You give me another perception check, please.
All of us?
No, just these two. You see this fight is going on. And you can see from where you're positioned, the two guys are holding their own against maybe 4 or 5 smaller characters. It's difficult to see because it's the light sort of torches going around and crash. So from where you're watching, you can see that this group seem to be aware of what's going on, and there's some sort of tension building in this little group in front of you. What's happening?
At this point, I'm sort of following Garlander at pace. I'm feeling as if I'm going to witness something happening. But where were we based on? Where's Garlander? Or where are we based in terms of what we're this attack and what we're seeing?
You haven't got a clue. I mean, it's just noise. It's just stuff.
Okay, so we're not seeing anything yet.
You can't see them when it's dark. You just see torches flashing around, and you've not yet arrived at what there seems to be something going on. Your fight is happening. Looks like the others, whoever they are, maybe getting the upper hand in this now.
Can I, first of all, sort of retreat a little bit so that I'm definitely out of sight,
Okay.
out of the way. I'm going to cast Mage Hand.
Okay.
And then I'm going to use my cunning action to put one of the smoke bombs I bought
Okay.
in the Mage Hand. I want to send the Mage Hand up above the tree line, just a little bit, over to the top of these, where the fight is, and I want to drop the smoke bomb right in the middle of them.
Okay. So you have to ignite the fuse on it, which is just a small piece of cloth that seems to be sort of covered in a waxy, fuely kind of thing. So you have to ignite that, and then what does the Mage Hand takes this up? It's not really a flame. You can just see almost like this thing smouldering.
Yeah.
It starts to burn down. You watch this thing disappear. You can just see almost looks like a firefly now moving up above where this fight's going on. How long do you want it to be before the...
No, I want it to go straight up and drop it straight in the middle.
Okay, so it goes up. The next thing you see is this tiny light just drop down to the ground where this melee is going on, and almost instantly the smoke starts billowing up. It's quite difficult to see it other than the sort of as the torches move around.
So my intention is to try and get them to like split up, you know, stop fighting.
You're more aware of the fact that the smoke's there because you hear people coughing and spluttering. And as that's happening, what you perceive is that whoever these two guys were in fight with start to just disappear and pull back into the background. And the blokes there coughing and spluttering, and at this point you see the Galander come bursting through the bushes and one of his guards alongside him with his torch sort of stop a few feet away from them, looking, there's smoke illuminated by your torch billowing all over the place, and he sort of starts coughing. The other two are retching now as this smoke is really taking a hold of them.
Cool.
Can I ask a
So you can see
DM
this
question.
to close now.
Would someone know if I had cast Bane on them?
No, I don't think so. There's no reason why they would. It doesn't require them to participate in the casting.
I think I asked this before, and I think that was the same answer before. So seeing, I can now see Galander and I suppose a couple of his men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hide. I'm still invisible. I'm gonna hide back, and I'm going to cast Bane on Galander and two of the others that I can see.
Cool.
And that would be a Charisma 14 save.
Okay, so I'll do him first. That's a 9. Just check what his charisma bonus is.
What does Bane do?
Bane is like a negative D4 to attack rolls and save
So
throws.
every attack roll and every saving.
Okay, so he fails, and then the other guy is an 18.
Okay.
So
So if Galander fails,
he's failed. Yeah.
that means for every attack or saving throw, he would roll a d4 and it subtracts from that.
Okay, and how long does that last?
1 minute.
Okay,
So
cool.
just sort of seeing what happens, just standing in the shadows.
As you watch the group that you can sort of just see outlined in the trees, you become aware that they seem to be just sort of dispersing away from the noise, disappearing off in the bushes until there's nothing there.
They don't really seem to be causing any big problems here. I'm not going after them. Check and see what the ruckus is.
Sure, but are any can we see whether any are looking towards us? Or have they all just moved
They
on?
just vanish. Give me a perception check.
Both of us.
Yeah, if you want to, you can do.
15?
As they disappear, just a moment when, although they're still mostly in the darkness, there's just a bit of torch or something that just catches the face of one that just looks in your direction, holds your gaze, and then disappears, and you get the sense they knew you were there, but they weren't going to attack you. You hear, you both now can see, there's still these two guys are still coughing up the guts, and Galander's there, and you say, pull yourselves together, what's going on? Come on, we've got to stop them, otherwise there'll be a swarm of them here soon. Come on, get yourselves together. You see the four of them, sort of, the two guys getting up off their feet, wiping their faces, and eyes are sort of just red and swollen. They're looking around now as if they're expecting something to happen.
So, I don't know if you missed it, but
I caught it at the tail end. You'd smoke bomb them, yeah?
check.
So we're moving back to them, are we?
Yeah, I think we'll
Yeah.
head towards the sound of the ruckus.
Okay.
And at this point, feeling that I've put a nice little hex on Galander in case he tries anything, I'm still just standing back and watching.
Cool. And as you watch, you become aware almost simultaneously of the arrival of these two coming through. Where's your torches now?
I've still got it.
So you can see two torches coming from this direction, but at the same time, Galander and his three guys start moving away in the opposite direction, seemingly intent on pursuing whoever it is they were fighting for. And you guys come up and you see Phil sort of leaning up against the side of this tree. You're almost on top of him before you realise he's there. And you know he's not actually hiding from you. He wants you to see him, but he didn't want anybody else to see him, sort of thing. He gets a little bit of a buzz at the fact that you were almost in front of him when you realised he was there.
And I'm just standing back watching this.
What went down?
First of all, after you noticed me, I'll just sort of quite smugly be like, "How's the evening going, boy?" Look at tomorrow and go.
Are you talking to me now?
So let's just pop you over into the sort of clearing over just towards the boys a bit.
Oosh!
No, this
Where?
one. Yeah.
Yeah? There we go.
That's good.
And where would Garnado have run from?
So he's headed off over.
So
in
he
that
would have ran this
direction
way?
some way. So he sort of came in from this way,
Yeah, sure. So
and
I'll
then
be
has
here.
disappeared in that direction. And from where you were, your group had disappeared in that direction. And you now seemingly are alone. Occasionally you hear some other shouts and torches sort of flickering through the trees, and everyone seems to be heading off generally in the same sort of direction from different parts.
Yeah.
Just looking around, can I see any kobolds?
We have perception check, please.
23.
Yeah. As you see these two arrive and then have a brief, quiet exchange with Phil, you also are conscious that just within 10-15 feet of them, just quietly standing, not hiding, but just standing almost invisible, a group of 4 or 5 kobolds. They've got their weapons with them, but their weapons are just down. They're just watching.
Would we know what kobolds speak?
You
that
all did
be
well
like
in your
common
history
knowledge?
check, didn't you?
Yeah.
About the knowledge of kobolds. They speak Draconic.
Oh.
Little lizard dudes.
Fair.
Can Tamara look around as well for them?
You can if you wish.
Because I don't know that you're there, right? 17.
Okay, yeah, so you too, as you sort of been running with Horst and you find yourself with Phil and you're kind of looking around and you're seeing people disappear and lights vanishing off in the other direction and just trying to get a sense, and you just look again and see 5 small figures stood
Smaller than
no more
Tamara.
15. Similar size.
I'm gonna...
You see 5 normal size.
No, you just catch their eyes looking at you.
And they're just standing there looking.
Dragons.
They've got their weapons.
I
and
would be a
they're
good
not
tale for
hiding
a
their
bard.
weapons, but they're not holding them in a sort of threatening manner.
Can I pass force the light that I'm holding? Just a moment, and very approach where I see them, but not get too close. And she...
They come in from sort of an arc in this main bush here.
She's going to kneel down for a second, pull out her dagger and put it on the floor, and take a couple of steps back.
Okay. As
And
you
just
do
wait.
that,
Phil's just looking at Tamara.
you see one in the middle of the group. So hold your vision and just nods. And almost in sort of acknowledgement. And hope.
I hope it's acknowledgement. She's gonna,
Got to get swarmed by
she's gonna
kobolds.
walk back towards, she's gonna be slightly more in front of the others and others being Horst and Phil, and be like, I think there's about 4 of them over there.
And as you look in the direction that Tamara is indicating, you can see shape of 4, or no, 5 small figures, armed with simple weapons, but not threatening.
I think Phil would be looking quite relaxed at the moment, and I'll kind of just look over to you all and say, I followed some of, I guess they were patrols, some of the town guard, and they seem to be hunting these things, but it doesn't seem like these things are trying to fight. So I followed and I waited to see what we'd ensue, and they attacked a few of these creatures. I employed some stealthish tactics. I dropped a smoke bomb in there, as you can see.
3 gold well spent.
And they ran. 3 gold well spent.
And as you're talking to these two, because you have no awareness.
Oh, you haven't like made yourself visible to us, yeah, okay, fair.
And Adelola has not joined you at this time. The one that was looking at you standing in the middle speaks in a soft but very deliberate voice and says, "Weapons lower.
Weapons lower.
No fight. Please."
You talk common.
Well, Phil wouldn't have his weapons out anyway, they'd just be on his back.
Come and speak a little.
They fight you. And she'll point to where the others have gone.
Say yes.
This your home?
Kind of looks at the others. Home think.
Why?
Home think no.
So they're here, but it's not their home.
Why here?
Please come.
I come? All come?
Please come.
All come. And as she walks, she's going to pick the weapon up, but that she put on the ground, but put it back in the belt. And look back to the guys and be like...
To be fair, after seeing everything that Phil's seen tonight with them, he'd probably just go up.
So they sort of wait, and this slightly taller, short, wiry sort of character looks and watches to see if you're evidence in that you're going to follow him. She beckons, "Please come."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah.
moving forward.
Begin to disappear back into the trees, and you follow them, and you can see that they're checking all the time that you're keeping up with them. What's Gwyn doing?
He is first taking a look around. I mean, he sort of feels an empathy towards these creatures, but he's taking a look around to see if there are any others, just to double check if there's any ambush ideas or anything else. And he'll be following at a small distance behind, just constantly trying to clock the surroundings and see if there's any obvious traps.
Also, just give Tamara a pat on the back as they follow him walking and say, "Don't worry, I mean it, I've got your back."
And you follow them, and maybe for 15 minutes, just walking, and you're walking further and further away from the noise and where the fight was and the direction in which the guards had gone, until you find that you sort of break out into a slight clearing from the trees. So around the clearing there seems to be some rocks that create a little sort of enclosed space, and as you break into it, you realise that it was almost invisible until you were in it. And although it's dark, you get a sense that it's actually quite hidden anyway. and the group stop, and they sort of go back into this sort of arch shape up against this rock face in front of you, and this taller one beckons you forwards. Come now there.
Phil keeps going.
Yeah, so it's host.
And as you move into this sort of little amphitheatre space, you become aware that there are not 5, there are maybe 7 or 8 or 9 or 10 of these figures that sort of just appear out of the rocks, and they don't surround you, but they're certainly making your presence known, their presence known.
As
And
as the horse becomes aware of there being more, and slightly wary of a trap or an ambush, he will just sort of tack in front of Tamara a little bit and
no worry, no fight. Good. Who?
Us?
Who?
Some distance?
Understood.
Tamara?
Tamara.
Tamara? Horst?
Krishta.
Ushta?
Krishta?
Krishta.
Krishta. Okay.
And this figure, there are a few torches that are visible now that just light up the group and the space you're in. You can see that this figure definitely follows the form that you would expect, as do the others of kobolds. She has got a very speckledy sort of snout and strong eyes. She wears sort of a woolen cloak over her shoulders and has a staff as well as the club that she had in her hand. And she looks at you in a very deliberate way, and in a way that is definitely supposed to make sure that you understand I'm in charge here. Not in an aggressive way, it's more like your grandma. You know?
She's
I'm
the
boss.
matriarch.
And she looks and she says, Sunderstad City. Forest Co.
Bad. Maybe? Yes. He sort of looks a bit
You Forest Co.
No. Coin fight you. No one.
Coin fight.
No one. Why here? Why are you here? Home?
Wait, sit.
She'll sit quite like, oh, I don't know whether I should be going sneaky.
And you see her turn, she seems to be talking to one of these other kobolds who, as the conversation goes on, you don't understand a word of what they're saying, and this figure disappears, and then they all just stand there, looking at you.
Horst, are you visible yet? No. And Phil.
Horse,
Horst.
Krista, Phil, Krista.
Just sort of give a very small, like, not a nod, more like a bow, but like, I'm not bowing, I'm just sort of...
You're bowing your
Yeah,
head.
just a little bit of a, yeah.
After a few minutes, all these eyes are just looking at you and occasionally looking at this kobold who's identified herself as Krishtar. The one that had run off comes back with another kobold, slightly taller. As this one sort of moves in close to stand next to Krishtar, you see some sort of resemblance to them, and Krishtar speaks turns and says something. And this one speaks. I am Tar, daughter of Gristar. Who are you?
Do you speak common?
Is this one speaking better? Than...
She's
Yeah.
speaking common.
So I'd be like, oh my god.
My name's Horst.
Welcome, Horst. Tar.
Well met. Nice to meet you.
Mara.
Welcome, Tamara. Tar.
And
I think Phil's still a little bit puzzled at the minute. Just because, like, a minute ago they couldn't speak anything.
So
And then one of them was speaking a little bit, and now this one speaks perfect.
Gristar turns to the one next to her and says, Gristar asks, why are you here?
yes, because they might give us honesty. Forest Co paid us because they were having a problem with you guys, but we see you don't fight them. So we don't want to fight you, and
One
does.
moment. She turns and starts to speak to Gristar, who
Phil nods in, was like, was going to pay us.
Going to pay. They
Hasn't
haven't
paid
paid
us.
us yet, but we
and she sort of, okay. Gristar speaks back to her, she says, I think we understand. Gristar asks, why did you come?
first we heard about mining and have a friend that doesn't like it,
Phil just says to find out the truth.
and to find out the truth.
I owe a friend a favour.
These are all reasonable reasons. Definitely. Okay.
I'm going to sort of raise my hand a little bit as a sort of like, don't be alarmed. As with my other hand, I cast Minor Illusion. Right? And I show them first just something like really simple and basic, something small, just so they understand that I'm like making magic, it's not real. Right? And then I cast it again, but this time I cast it to be that Galendar guy, and I just say, when he appears next to me, out of the illusion, I say, why is he trying to fight you?
Okay. So as you do this, Gristar smiles,
Mm-hmm.
and she looks over at one of the other kobolds, who waves their hand, and as they do so, your illusion dissipates.
Phil gives like a very wry smile.
And she speaks to Tar, who says, we can do magic too.
The illusion of text system.
Important questions.
Phil's just looking over like, shh.
It's always the guardsman.
And does you see the character that woves hands just sort of looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
And Tar says, this man, this image, he is our enemy.
Why?
What is he to you?
No one.
He's nothing to it.
Nothing.
Irritating.
You came with him.
I didn't.
We're trying to find the truth. We want to know what is happening.
Do you know what they're mining out there?
She speaks back to Gristar, who takes a moment to think what to say and responds, and you can see that there's a little bit of a sort of. And she says, Gristar says, it's not important that we answer this question right now.
So we'll step in and say,
What
we,
are your intentions?
to find out the truth. We were told that you, as in all of you, were causing trouble attacking the town. But we saw, or maybe not saw, but we gathered that maybe this wasn't true and decided to look for ourselves.
If you want to know the truth, then come with us and you will learn the truth.
Come with you where?
You will find out where if you come with us.
Can you assure us of our safety?
You are safe with us.
I like these guys. They're they're kind of like this. This is not Phil. This is me speaking. I like that they're like almost a little bit cheeky. Do you know what I mean?
You will be safe with us. We cannot promise your safety from others.
I just look to the rest of the group like.
We can look after ourselves. We'll come with you. But tell us what's in the mines.
Can I just ask, while all this is happening, I'm obviously not standing too close to this. Can I say I don't know them anyway?
Give me a perception check.
Howdy.
And
Natural
character.
20.
Oh!
Nice.
You
Nice.
are absolutely certain that she's not been near you since she...
And I look up and there's no Frankie.
So Gristar looks and
Like you chicks.
and a bit of a conversation goes and says, follow. And you see the group sort of move towards these rocks, this outcrop, and as you look again you realise that within the darkness and the shadows cast there is a passageway, what looks like a sort of small cave, and they start to disappear out of sight completely. And then Gristar and Tar and one of the others stop and sort of beckon you to come in.
Gathering from the lay of the land when we walk in here, would Phil know whether maybe this is something that's close to or something that might connect to their mind?
It's quite clearly in the other direction than the mine.
Okay.
But whether it would connect, you are not
Yeah,
able to
yeah,
tell
yeah,
at this
okay.
point really. But they beckon you and you can see this small, sort of almost invisible passageway.
Yeah, I just
Different to how I saw the night hanging out. Let's go for it. Can horse fit to the passageway?
Yeah.
Just to ask, while this is happening, and I'm scanning sort of, I don't know if it's a camp or just a clearing, but do they themselves have any other creatures or animals that are around them?
Not with them, you just see them. Sorry, this is a better depiction of the space.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I should have brought that up. I'd forgotten what was going on. So they've sort of disappeared. See this dark
We've
spot?
been here before. This is where we thought that was wrong.
Never recycle. Okay, so in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All countryside
is-
looks the same after
It is
all.
dark.
No, it was weird. I looked at it. Wait, what?
Right, I'm gonna go in. Like, start walking in.
Yeah.
Phil's just following the one that's telling us to come.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got a better drink.
Hopefully they've got a better drink. Manny is not waiting for me.
So you follow them into this space which opens up into quite a large single cavern. There are various light sources around in here, and you can see a number of these kobolds sort of gathered in different groups around. You can see some very small ones, almost in a little group, some of them looking quite worried as you come in. there are sort of little shelters built within this cave, almost like little tent arrangements, and you can see dotted around the space a few little campfires, and you are in a group of, I don't know, maybe 40 or 50 of these kobolds.
And how far away from the town is this?
It took
If I could
you
gather.
probably, you were walking for a good hour initially.
From when we seen them?
No, from when you first set out from town.
Oh, okay.
You were patrolling for about an hour.
Okay, so it's good.
So maybe a couple of miles, maybe, out
Yeah.
from the town. How the directions that you've gone since are a little bit.
No, but like, it's not like I can see the town from here, so to speak.
No.
No, fine, okay.
Okay.
And since you've got here, you have no sight nor sound of any of the
Yep.
line guards.
Okay.
You can see in some of the stuff that's lying around, there seem to be a couple of crates that have got the Forest Coast symbol on them, and just odd bits of equipment with the symbol on it that are sort of being used as cooking hot holders and things like that, and everybody looking at you very inquisitively.
I'm gonna look towards the one that was the good speaker,
Tar.
and I'll point to the things that have got the symbols on them, and I'll be like, why are these, you know, where did you get these, why are they here?
She smiles and she says, we have taken from those that have invaded our space. We had a need. They would throw them away. They would ruin the place.
So they're suggesting that they are picking up things that have been thrown away. Is that what it is? Or are they saying they've stolen them?
Give me a perception check.
13, I think.
They're not trying to deceive you, and you probably get from what this younger woman says that a bit of both.
Yeah,
probably.
fair enough. Okay.
You also notice that there's one area of this cave which is pretty big, that nobody seems to occupy, and you can see there are rows of stones, quite large stones, sort of 3 or 4, and then another 3 or 4, and another 3 or 4. And altogether there's maybe 20 of these stones, very carefully arranged and lay on the ground.
Sort of religious, like cemetery sort of thing, or
Give me an insight check.
it's okay.
Can I help?
Sorry. No, it's not great. 11.
You're not sure? Could be. Might just be some stones.
Can I approach them?
The stones, or
Yeah. I want to see if anyone does anything.
please. We would ask that you don't go into that area. It is important for us.
Sacred?
Sacred memories.
Memories.
These mark those that have fallen.
Gravestones.
Gravestones is a good word, yes.
One fighting the forest go, or
Well, not fighting, just killed
Killed by who?
by forest
Can
guard
I ask you?
By Forest.
why?
because they want us to go.
This is your home.
This was our home. It should be our home. And they have ruined it and raped it and destroyed it and killed.
Oh boy.
You want to stay here, or?
This is our land. Our tribe has been here for many, many years. You sense that Tar is growing in confidence to speak herself without having to ask Gushtar what to say.
And what is it the forest girl wants in the area?
They take all that they can find in the mine. What they call a mine, it is our home.
Places like this in the mine.
This is temporary, this is a cave.
The mine was your home.
The tunnels, the caverns were our home. We lived there in nature, with nature.
Oh God.
And
Why are you 1,000 gwins?
Why are you 1,000 gwins?
No.
what is a gwyn?
A gwyn is there is no describing a gwyn. When you meet him, you know he's you. Oh.
A little nasty red boy.
Is he one of the others that are not with you now?
He's ours, but not Forest Co.
There were more of you that
Yes.
came earlier today.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 are missing.
Yes.
Are they dead?
No.
Hopefully not.
Oh gosh. She's gonna sort of edge towards a thing like, oh no, I've been a bad.
I doubt it. I'm sure they're fine. Don't worry.
More than capable.
Be a wolf. Surely he'd be a wolf and call us. She's just sort of start muttering about. They can't be dead. They wouldn't be dead. I'd know if they were dead.
I do start looking around to see if I can see. Not just Eli, but anyone, really. See if I've got a sense of we've been followed or anything like that.
Please find somewhere to sit. I'll make some tea. It will be good to drink. It's good to soothe the nerves and ease the mind.
I look over to Horse and I'm like, you seem more like us than the others.
At this point, I will, having watched this little scene and having watched Marlon say, is he dead? In a wolf? I'll just slowly crouch down behind her head.
Don't do it, bro. You set her off now.
Thinking that you can speak bear.
Oh!
Okay.
Hold on, can I roll to understand that first?
Roll.
I guess
wisdom.
would it match anything I've said to you before?
Yeah.
Give me a wisdom check first, just because this comes out of the blue.
Okay. Wisdom is.
She's a wise old halfling.
No, she's not. So she is going to scream, jump up,
Okay.
and thunderclap.
Oh
Good. Okay, you can see the kobolds are somewhat shocked. Thunderclappers, please.
Thunderclap is.
Oh, no.
I'll get. Is this the one where I'll get blown back like 10 feet?
Yeah. So you need to take a Constitution saving throw of 13.
Anyone within 5 foot of you?
Failed.
Okay, so you go flying backwards, and anyone. But has anyone stood next to me? You're next to me?
Yeah.
Anyone
Yeah,
within
go on.
5 foot. Yeah, so you're going to take 1d6 damage.
What's the DC?
13.
Constitution.
Oh my lord.
I'm blaming him for this.
Yeah, horse is fine. 16.
4 points damage.
Okay, so you get blasted away from tomorrow.
Yeah.
I need you also to do a dex roll for me, a dex save. This is just to see whether your hood comes off.
A saving throw? Or just a dex roll?
On the dex saving throw.
No, it doesn't matter, they're the same. 18.
Okay, so you kind of blow and you manage to just hold on to that hood.
Was it 4 points? Sorry.
4 points damage.
Uh,
And she goes, I'm so sorry. Not me.
See, there's people sort of cowering and
No,
trying to cope with this noise which bellows around in this cave and around and round and round. There are small people crying and Tar says, why?
sorry, someone is.
Horse is-
Sorry.
The noise sort of emanates out. He does manage to hold himself from being blown back, but he instantly sort of drops into a crouch behind Tamara, and he pulls his spear out and has it like sort of over her shoulder. Not really sure where that came from.
Yeah,
He's
Phil
sort of
would
like
probably
protecting
do a
her.
similar
I'm so sorry.
spinning
there's
crouch, weapons out,
something-
looking towards the mouth of the cave.
Yeah, so at this point, I'll just be lying there and I'll just start laughing. You'll just hear Gwyn just laughing against the wall.
That wasn't an attack. I'm sorry.
And I'll
Tar calls to the kobold who reacted to your illusion spell earlier, and you see this creature start to move over towards Tamara.
Okay, and I'll take the hood off, and I'll say, I'll
As soon as
Oh,
Phil
there's-
sees him, he's just going to be like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Gwyn!"
And you can see confusion and Tar, you.
I look back at this person and I say, "The
Gwyn,
other one."
Gwyn, bad Gwyn.
say, I'm not dead. Thank you for asking.
This was not clever.
No, sorry.
Sit down.
On my hands.
We all need teaming.
Just in case anyone from the outside of this cave heard that, I'm going to cast Minor Illusion again and make it look like the mouth of the cave is just plain rock. So there is no more entrance to be seen.
Okay. I think the sound that would normally rock out for 100 feet or something like that actually would, because it just bellowed around and around this chamber just
All
Just
the
in
way
case.
back to the main mine.
Just in case.
Everyone's...
you find somewhere to sit, and a few people who are a little bit wary now sort of just back off slightly and beckon you to sit next to them where they've got little fires going. And Tar, you see, goes over to where Grishtar is sat, and Grishtar is stirring a big pot of something and scooping out some liquid into some sort of bowls, and bring them over to you and offer you these bowls. The steam is rising from them. They smell. You've smelled some of these smells in the garden outside the warehouse there. Minty smells, sort of quite aromatic smells, and they hold these out to you.
I'll graciously take it. I'll say, thank you for sharing.
Anybody else?
Yeah, she'll take it and apologise again. So sorry.
And I'll say, do you mind if do you mind if I make a tea for you? I'll say to Krishna and to Tar.
Please. This would be good.
Exchanging.
And so I'll go into my little
Have you
pouch.
drunk anything from the teas?
Yeah, I'll drink.
Yeah, Phil sort of cups it in two hands and sort of nods to the person that gives it to him, and then like with both hands drink from the bowl.
So I'll
Poison damage.
You're all going to get advantage on your next Constitution rolls. You have to
Nice.
take tastes
Nice.
brandy and
amazing.
spicy.
Where's my advantage?
And as you
card?
drink it, you just feel it sort of just, you know.
Nice. So while this is feeling amazing, I'm going to start going into my bag, getting some herbs, making a tea. And I'm going to put out some fresh thyme leaves pulled from the garden. And I'm going to steep it, and you'll see I'm really quite focused on steeping and getting this sorted.
Because a few of the older kobolds from the groups are coming over to have a look at what's going on.
And as I'm making it, I'm sort of muttering a blessing over the top and thanking the god Sylvanus. And I will make a tea of courage and give it to the kobolds, and they will get +1 to either their constitution or charisma saving throws for the next hour.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a tea of courage.
How much do you make? How many of them?
As much as the pot the pot of water they give me. So hopefully, can make. If it's a big pot, I'll have used a good amount of time in this. So
Okay.
hopefully I'll
So
try and give it to as
maybe
many
half
of
a
the
dozen of them get to drink this. Tar and Gristar both drink some. The sort of apparent magic using kobold drink some, and they all.
Just to say, as a DM thing, they have to choose right now when they drink whether they want the +1 to Constitution or Charisma.
Okay. I'll do that, but I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Sure. When I heard him blessing his tea, would Phil know who Sylvanus is as a god? Before I Google it. if I don't know, then I'm not going to Google it.
Probably. So we're talking god of the forest and nature and...
Yeah, he's specifically a Celtic, which works even better in Moonshae. But he's a Celtic god of forest and nature and...
As in Sylvanian families.
Yeah, and it's not like the really ordered farming style. It's wild nature as the forest.
Okay. Cool.
Cool.
Often like the old
I mean, you don't find many Sylvanian families in
Okay.
the world.
I'm going to roll a religion check,
Yeah.
just for my own sake, and if I roll under a 10, I'm going to pretend that I know nothing about this god.
Okay.
Fair? 14. There we go.
Okay. Yes.
Whatever.
You got
17.
enough.
Yeah, he's either normally shown as the old father, like the Green Man,
Yeah.
or the young Strider, the young.
So, somewhere within the journey from the real old faiths, the old magic that the Druids have sort of held on to, and the more modern understanding of religion in Faerun, really. So it sort of exists in that crossover period where things started to blend together and reasons needed to be found to explain things and bring stuff together. You sit and you drink, and Tar and Gristar come and sit next to you, and Tar says, "Is there anything we can help you understand? You said you want to know the truth. What do you want to know?"
Well, I guess we know most of it now, right?
So what I need you to do is each of you roll me a 6-sided dice.
Oh!
2.
1,
3.
1, 2, 3, and 5.
I ruined it, sorry.
So Gristar begins to talk and Tar translates, and she says, "We know that the Forest Girl people talk of us sending war parties and fighting. This is not true. We do not have war bands, we do not seek to fight. Even though the guards at Shakevan have undoubtedly told you this, they kill us whenever they can find us, whenever they can catch us. If we get close to the village, they attack us. We come to the village, we try to get to the village because we want to talk to the workers."
About what?
She doesn't say any more about that just at the moment. Who threw the 2?
Me.
So she looks at you and she says, "We talk to them because we think they will understand what it is we want. We think they will understand us better than those that own the place, than the guards. We want to try and convince them that we should be allowed back in our home, in our minds."
You don't want
Who
them to
threw
leave
the
mine?
3?
Okay.
Sort of looks in your direction and says, "You see, this is our home. Where the mine was our home. And we lived there for centuries. We did mine. We lived though and took only of the crystals what we needed. Now they come to take all of it. They just rip it all from the mines. And we all used to live in the mines. There were hundreds of us, and now this is all that are left. They chased us, they have killed us, anybody that resisted, and we have been forced out of our home.
Fine.
And she says, we are not used to this. This is not our natural environment, how we live here. We're not good at finding food in the forest, and that's not our natural way. We can't farm, that's not what we're doing. Our children are getting hungry. That was our home. We knew how to live there. Our people are dying, and we need help. It's always good when someone asks you for help, isn't it?
Question for Gwyn, not from Phil, but just a question for Gwyn. Would Phil know, one, how, I don't know, focused you are as a character, as Gwyn, on, like, protecting the land and, you know, the beauty of natural world and all the rest of it, and would he know whether Gwyn would be open to compromise? Is that something you think, gathering from the campaign thus far, Phil would know, or would it be like a...
I think you would probably know quite strongly and clearly that this will be a matter of zero compromise, and he will, even if he goes on his own, he will try and...
It's like for blood?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Continue.
Just generally speaking to all of you, Tara says, we watch the guards, we watch the mines, we watch the people that work there. We know that the people are afraid of those they work for. We know that they don't treat them well. And we want to try and sort things out. We want to fight back. We think that we can work with the workers to get our home back. But we need help.
Would we, so like when we were, or when these were in the town, when I was like scouting the town, would I know whether there's like a clear line between, like, you know, the guard seemed like pretty awful, and then the leader of the guard seemed even more awful. Are the workers like that too?
You didn't really see many workers. There were some in 3 of the buildings that you sort of looked at from afar.
Mm-hmm.
They seemed to be pretty normal people getting on with what they were doing.
Yeah, because like in Phil's head, I guess what the thought process is there needs to, like, he's feeling like there needs to be punishment for what they've done, but does everyone deserve it? Do you know what I mean?
We do know that the workers, from what we were told by the lady that drove Mania, that the workers mostly leave. There's a very high turnover of people. They don't like staying.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you. That's good to know.
Griftar says some of our younger clan, they are becoming impatient and they want to fight. But this would be foolish because we would just be destroyed. We need help. We need to get with the workers. We know the workers are not happy. If we could just talk to them and explain to them we need somebody to help us by talking to the workers.
We can talk to the workers. They won't bother us if we approach them.
Is it... What are you up against? Is it just the guardsmen we've seen, or were there things...
The whole town, he said there were 6 buildings of basically crew quarters, guard and workers. So you can
Masters, we think there are somewhere around maybe 12 or more guards always around.
And the fiercest is Garlander?
He is not a nice person.
They have dogs, they have other creatures, they have...
No. We have seen them treat some of the workers in the same way that they would treat us.
If the guards are removed, do we know if Forest send more?
I do not know.
I look over to Gwyn and Host and I say, this seems like a cut the snake from the head kind of situation. I think there are people that will deserve it and there are people that won't. But Garlander seems like the kind of man I wouldn't mind not seeing around tomorrow.
I mean, he's a bit of a dick. I mean, I haven't really got a problem with people making money.
No, me neither.
I haven't got a problem with people making money from mining. It's not an issue to me. If these kobolds are in the way of that, then, you know, it's survival of the fittest sometimes, isn't it? But,
yeah, but just to hunt them for sport. Would you do it?
I'm a fisherman. It's part of what I do, but I'm happy to go with whatever you guys feel you need to do.
Garlander gets no remorse. And if the
I
guards
don't want
scatter,
unnecessary. You know, Garlander deserves it by the
if the
by
guards,
what we've seen.
if the guards scatter, they scatter, and if they don't, they'll fall where they stand. And you can see Gwyn's starting to get a little upset. He'll say, you know, everyone deserves a home, and these profiteers, these people coming in, I've seen them before with my life, and I won't stand for it.
If it's
No.
something you feel that strongly about, I'm happy to lend you my arm.
Very good. Thank you. And I'll look at Phil and say, will you help?
I'll yeah, Phil sort of looks at you quite intently and says, you were a brother, you know, before we met these people. It will be your arm before this. In other words, saying, I'm with you.
Will you help these people?
You jump, I jump, Jack.
Who's Jack?
It's your nickname now.
And yeah, I'll turn to Krishna and I'll turn to Tar. And I'll say, whether you have the workers or not, you have us. And we'll remove Garlander. And the mine will be yours. Your home will be yours.
And Tar translates this to Chris Tar, who nods and sort of looks quietly and says, it would be best if it was not violence, But what must be done must be done. We're sure that the workers will help. Now please, you should rest, or you should return.
If we remain here, they will either get suspicious or send search parties.
Well, Phil's ready to leave. Phil's ready to...
And I'll say to Tarn, I'll say, you know the lands, you know the mines. If it gets violent, where would it be in our advantage? Where best would be in our advantage for it to be violent?
I do not know your skills or your preferred environment. Each of us performs best where we are comfortable.
Phil just sort of shakes his head towards Gwyn as if to say, like, we should get going, and says, we're more than capable of surveying the land ourselves.
This friend of yours will have a favour. How much trouble are you going to be in doing?
I just plan on seeing her again anyway.
Good.
Phil just chuckles.
Okay. So are you going to hang around here and head back in the daylight, or
I
are
think
you
we
going to
should,
try and
I
make
think we
your
should
way
head
back?
back tonight.
Yeah. We'll head back.
And just, do you know where they store their goods?
Phil,
Do you know where they store
Phil
the
will
mining
come
goods?
in and say, when I was around the town, I found a few buildings. A lot of the buildings are storage for goods, and yeah, there was maybe 7 or 8 of them, and then 5 or 6 buildings that seemed like living spaces.
Okay. We need to make them heard.
And you watch the guards, you said? There's shift change for the guards, or...?
It's not clear. The guards come and go. There are always 10, 12 of them around in the mine, outside the mine.
We'll see what we can do for you.
As
Okay.
we're walking back, should they they might have some queries of where we've been.
Just say that we ran into a group of kobolds and that we've... It depends how you want to play this. We can
where he says his
tell them that we need to speak to the workers.
So it breaks up into like a million little
We want to
petals, and that's
go and
what I
speak
just
to them
envisioned.
immediately.
Chocolate balls everywhere.
and find a way to get some of the workers maybe to the kobolds, or we can be a little bit sneaky and tell him that we found a bunch of kobolds and
Why do we need the
dealt with them.
workers? As long as they get to safety.
There's there's safety. We need to warn them or at least see.
Yeah,
but there is a way we could do this.
we could do it when the workers are in the mine.
But then if they
I personally don't want to go and stab a bunch of guys who are just getting paid to make a living.
No, that's what I
seems
mean.
like-
No. I mean,
like
we
a
could
dick,
do what we
so-
need to do while they're in the mine, so they're safe.
but there
But
is
the guards are also just being paid to do a job. They're not. We don't know them.
So-
We've just walked in here today.
I thought it was what I was
Seem
saying
happy
was
enough hunting and
cut
chasing them down in the woods.
the head of the snake, as in go for Garlander.
But how do we know he's not going to run into the mines or hold anyone hostage? Or we could just say
Well, we've
that
got the element of surprise. We can choose where, we can choose when, we can figure out how.
if we can get him away from anyone.
Yeah, and who says we can't?
Are we the right people to be passing judgment on these men?
Yes.
Does it seem
No, I'm
good?
not.
When is anyone ever the right
Look at-
person to pass judgment
Look at
on
the
anything?
gravestones. They're not fighting back. They're trying to talk. And you saw the enthusiasm with which Golander was running through the woods. You
What?
saw how eager he was to go out and get them in pairs and beat them up and lock them down.
It was fun. It was.
You saw it.
What if
And it's not like they're fish from the sea. Look
Or
at
goblins.
host.
Or
Well-
bugbears.
Bugbears, have you ever met one?
Yeah, we've met some bugbears.
Yeah. we fought a bugbear?
And are they not almost inherently evil?
Nose.
Definitely inherently evil.
They attacked us. The difference
Sure.
here is the guards are the invasive species.
They're intelligent
They're picking them off.
creatures that are very passive. They're not.
There's,
I'm just saying, we've only just walked into this situation and yeah.
I'm not saying it's a good thing, but leaving
So-
it is a worse thing.
You can see that even though you've just walked in and it's all quite sudden, due to a few particular points in the story, Gwyn's already sentenced them. He's absolutely certain, he's sure. And it's becoming very personal, sort of writing along.
Okay.
what we could do.
So would you, look at it, Grin, would you be satisfied with getting rid of Forest Cove without death, if that was possible?
The guards are paid by Forest Co. The mine is run by Forest Co. We can stop the guards, and if they stand, we can kill the guards.
But do we need to?
We need to stop Forest Co.
Precisely.
We need to get the workers out. Workers.
We don't even need to be here to stop Forest Cove. That doesn't need to happen here.
We need to get the workers to speak to the kobolds. That's what they wanted, and what they want is their home back. And they said that's how they wanted to achieve it. I think we can facilitate that without too much budget.
So that, like, as Ellis now, that initially was what I was going to say, which is why I asked Gwyn if Phil would know how Gwyn would actually feel about it, because that seems like, if he knows that, it seems like a pointless thing to say to him, because Gwyn doesn't. He's like an advocate for natural
Murder.
peace.
No, I mean,
But it's like, his natural peace is killing everything that stops it.
if you want the kobolds to talk to the workers, and then it's up to the guards what they do.
If the guards interfere, I'm all for jumping on them.
We need an excuse.
What
of
the kobolds wanted.
We need an excuse of why we have been out here. At least to the guards.
Well, it was only an hour.
We
We've
got
only
lost on
been
a
out
patrol.
for an hour, and we've been out for maybe another half
Probably
an
been
hour.
a couple of hours now.
So,
So it's
we could just-
probably past midnight.
Golander said they patrolled far and wide. We patrolled far and wide.
yeah, I don't think it would raise too much of an eyebrow, to be honest.
Okay.
Strange lands.
I don't think we're getting paid anymore. I don't think we've got too much stake in this. It doesn't matter if they know what we're doing.
Well, we can go back to
No,
Forest
So it's
I-
about going
I'm-
without suspicion.
I'm going about the suspicion so I can get into the workers. Get to the workers. I can.
Okay.
So you're going to head back to the settlement. And with what do you leave Grishtar and Tar as you go? What do you tell them?
We'll find a way to
Two
bring
of
in the
them, so they can
workers.
link them with the workers. They can have the conversation.
Thank you.
You want to talk to the workers?
Yes.
You want to talk to the workers?
Okay.
We've seen your clan around the outside. We know they're watching.
met a wizard when I was, off drinking the other few nights, and
Wizards as well.
wizards, well, they said they were some sort of wizard. They mentioned a spell where you could animate someone who was no longer animated for a brief conversation. Maybe the easiest would be just to kill one of the workers and bring the body to just throwing it out there if we're happy to be.
And the look at this. His face.
And earlier on you were saying about
Star
trying not to stab innocent people.
It's a joke, I hope.
Yeah, horse lets out
Necromancy.
a big belly laugh, and I don't know what they call it. He was as pissed as I was, and goes to make his way out of the cave.
And so before you leave, Tar explains what they'd like you to do. They'd like you to go and speak to the workers and explain to them that the kobolds don't mean them any harm at all. They have never meant them any harm, just that they want their home back, and that they recognise that the workers are not being treated properly at all, but they believe that together they could get rid of the guards and get rid of Forest Co from here and somehow benefit each other.
The gnome with the rusty tap seemed sceptical and seemed...
Before we go, can I ask Tar if there's anything I can take from them as proof that we spoke to them, as proof that we were there? Because, because the workers and everything, we're just chatting absolute.
Sort of like a sign.
So they're a bit of a
like a sign,
conversation
here's proof that
and
we're being truthful in what we're saying.
after a moment, Gristar takes the stick that she had with her when you first saw her, and she brings it out in front of you, and you see it's just a beautiful elder, a wooden elder staff, and the top sort of opens up where there's a natural sort of knot in the wood, and fixed into the top is this purple blue crystal. And Tar says this,
Not unlike
they
that
will
of what would be in the
recognise.
mine. Yeah, nice.
They will know that this is ours and where it came from. Take this.
Okay, I feel.
And you can see
sticks it on his back.
Gristar sort of lets go and take care of this.
Do you know, before we leave, do you know how many workers there are?
Many, dozens. They come and go. Some come and don't last very long and leave if they can. Some don't leave, but are never seen again. Others, there are maybe 30, 40, 50, more maybe. Go now. Safe journey. And they lead you back towards where the sort of this concealed door into the cavern is, which is sort of even more concealed than they expected it to be. And the small magic using kobold does some movement and that disappears. And you move outside and begin to walk away from this space. And as you look round, they're gone. They're not visible to you. You're heading back to Shakevan.
Let's not go
Can we
through
have
the
a
direct
wisdom
route.
survival roll from all of you, please?
Survival.
Oh, bloody.
Survival. That's an 11.
Even with
boss.
my bonus, 9.
11.
23?
Ooh, biggie. Big oof.
No, sorry, 22, I lied.
Okay, so yours was
Moment
16,
Yeah,
9 and...
accurate
11.
math then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Choose one of them.
Choose one of them.
Choose one of these.
Sorry.
Okay. So you
just sent it towards to death.
are making your way back through the woods
I'm
in the
presuming
direction that
it's
you believe
Sorry.
you came from, and you're both quite confident in your woodsman skills, and yet some 15 minutes into walking you become aware that these two are not with you.
Oh shit.
Oh,
You two become aware that these two are not with you. And you, both individually, become aware that somehow you've drifted from the others. You are on your own, you are on your own, you two are still together. And give me another wisdom survivor roll, you two.
Survival.
Natural 20.
Okay.
For 24.
Here it is.
8.
Okay. After some time of just sort of stopping, taking your bearings, sort of stepping back, thinking, you get yourself back on track, and a few moments later, maybe 15, 20 minutes later, you find yourself back to these two. You are aware that the others have gone, but you just, okay, we'll just keep heading where we were going. Meanwhile, you in
So how are we gonna?
completely, this is flummoxing for you because this is your thing, and yet there's something about this place and maybe the tea that you drank earlier or something, just you're not sure where you are at all.
Absolutely,
Um,
I was
Is
walk
Phil
quick,
still
could
with
you not
me?
hold it?
We should go
Give
back in
me
a straight line, guys.
1d8 roll, please.
D8.
Yeah.
D8.
You two, by the time Gwyn has caught up with you, you've had a sort of up and down some rocks to get where you wanted, and you're pretty knackered to the extent that by the time with them you get back to the settlement, you are exhausted.
Okay.
Okay? You have exhaustion. This is one of my
Oh no.
toys from the.
This is a good thing. or a
So
bad thing?
excited.
Trying to find it.
Exhaustion, depending on the level, it's after each long rest, isn't it? They go.
Yeah, you lose one per long rest. Yeah. The first one was its disadvantage on
Disadvantage on
ability checks.
everything, isn't it? Ability checks, attack rolls, and saving throws.
So it tells you on the back what it is. So you're knackered and annoyed because you don't get lost, and why do these two idiots? You don't know what they're doing in the forest. Why without you? You, meanwhile, what did you
Tamara's
roll?
just happily singing
A
along
6
with
on the
Okay,
D8.
a 6. So you, again, in frustration and annoyance,
Poker chip.
trying to get sort of where you think you're supposed to be heading, you decide to take a direct route across the edge of this bit of a cliff face. And in the darkness, you slip and fall.
In
And
the darkness? I got dark vision, man.
You take, what did you roll?
A 6.
You take 10 points of damage,
10 points!
and
The audacity!
by the time you make it back to
The audacity of this cliff!
you are also exhausted, but I've only got one exhaustion token.
Yeah, we'll share it between us, Phil.
I'm
What is it?
exhausted.
Okay, I'm less
Right.
sorry now.
They've been cool, haven't they? Yeah.
Oh, just ability rolls. That's fine.
So you all sort of make your way back eventually to settlement. These two, he's blooded and really pissed off, and he's annoyed, and they're both exhausted. And you two are just kind of slightly amused by it, I think.
We got attacked by a
And
bear.
as you stumble into town, you meet just on the edge of the settlement, and as you sort of
Too
stumble
embarrassed to tell the
into
truth.
the town, heading towards, I guess, the tavern, you see Galander just stood leaning against one of the lampposts.
I need to still be out of the way of this though, because he still hasn't seen me before.
Well, You've come in exhausted and stumbling and bloodied with them.
But I wouldn't have there.
But you're exhausted. You're not thinking right. Like
I'm
you
tired.
No, you would be like hanging to the point of exhaustion affects everything, every ability, every.
Ability rolls. Disadvantage on ability rolls. Oh, whatever. Cool, I'll roll with it.
What happened to you? Did you get lost?
Like I said, we're not familiar with the terrain. We could have used one of your guards, but if that's the way you wanted to play it.
People don't normally get lost on a simple cobbled hunt. You must be some of the worst we've ever sent you.
Oh, terrible! Absolutely terrible.
You said the patrol was to go far and wide. You must have stayed close to town.
And I'm looking all bloodied and rough, right? I'll like sort of budge in, panting, and be like, I was attacked by these little red things. They
Yeah, sneaky little buggers. Did you kill them?
These adventurers, they saved me.
Who is this one? Who are you?
The name's Ollivander. All
Big one.
bloodied up and rough. I'm just gonna, head down, panting.
Are you travelling nearby?
I was actually on my way home. I got lost. I live in the next village along.
Which village is that?
The village of Shakevan.
Shakevan. Newcastle on the side.
He confused a little bit, but somewhat amused also at the fact that in his mind you've managed to get yourself lost and that you just proved to be useless. And you can see there's this kind of like, they'll go and then I can get on with what I do and just get them out of my hair. And as you're talking, he sort of looks at you and he says, well, I guess we're going to have to find some way for you to sleep. But then this guy comes running across the town. He seems to have come all the way down the track into the town and he comes running up panting. There's another guy sort of not far behind him. The pair of them have sort of got long smocks, canvas smocks on that are all covered in mud and there's dust on them all over their faces. And the one says, "Go under, sir, go under. There's been an accident in the mine. It's Clem, it's the machine again." And Ganda just, oh, for goodness sake, he said, "Bloody incompetent man. Right, you, come with me now." And he starts marching
Pointing to
towards
us?
the mine, yeah.
Clem's
Okay.
a worker. Clem's a worker.
He said,
He's off in front. He looks over his shoulder, "You'll see the stupid bugger." And he just marching off up towards the mine.
Take a look at Horst and tomorrow.
Oh, we're feeling good.
Yeah, it seems like a good opportunity to meet the workers.
Take a look at Phil. How we
Phil
feeling?
is looking bloodied and rough, as he said.
He looks over his shoulder as he's walking away and says, "Are you coming? Or are you going to get lost on the way?"
No, I'm looking
Are
like
there
I'm
any kobolds in the mine?
taking damage, but not like
Of course not.
too bad.
Oh, we were here to assist.
Well, there's been an incident. Maybe you can assist me with that. Or not. And he just keeps walking.
Horst will sprint to catch up with him.
Yep. Sprint.
I'll look at Phil. Are we going?
I need to take a nap.
Are you trying to like, or are you just saying, are we going?
Yeah, I'm asking. Are we going?
Oh yeah, no, I'll follow along.
And
I'm already moving. We're heading
catch
towards
up
the
with
wicket.
him
That's where we want
and
to be,
you
right?
follow him up the track, which is a long, steepish climb. And eventually, after a couple of 100 yards, it levels
So
out
it'd be anything
in the
he
mouth
asks for, like,
of a
muscular
cave
check.
entrance. You can see some tracks, like railway tracks that go into the entrance of the cave, and standing at the cave are two guards,
No, it's not.
and
It's
they look
initiative.
at
It's just a
you
standard plus
as
one. It's
you
not an ability.
are walking up behind
Well,
Gainder,
plus is
and he puts his hand up and he says, "They're with me, just stand aside," and he disappears into the cave.
They're all ability balls.
Yeah. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to stop.
Okay.
Okay.